We're live.
We are?
Yes.
Started without me? On what? YouTube?
Yes.
Oh, whatever. YouTubers don't deserve me on cam yet. Haha. Just kidding. What's up?
Hi.
What's going on?
What's up?
Yeah.
It's Sarge, Major of the Army, Mary Martha. And Master, I thought you were going to say your name. Master Sergeant Jesus.
Coming at you.
For our Strung 50 in this year, which means we're getting close to the end of our year here in the Pleasure Matrix. Two more Strongs. But Strong 50, this is our...
That's the end of our calendar year.
End of our calendar year. The true new year is in the spring, as is, supposed to be.
Don't get fooled by the holidays, y'all. Don't get fooled. It's a foolish time.
Janus is a two-faced trickster god, January. It's not the real beginning of the new year. It's just there to mess with your cycles. We are going to talk about a few things today.
Yes.
We are.
Indeed.
And I just want to start by saying some of the things that I do not need, because for my day type, it's quite effective for me to focus on the things I do not need rather than the things I want or need. You might be like, hey, isn't that a little negative? It is. Yeah. But it super works. Negative. I'm going to get to a different place eventually, but I got to start there. It helps. So I don't need to be humorless. I don't need to be humorless. There's a good one. Yeah. I don't need to be cool, and I don't need to care about being cool. All that does is, sever my realness and my vulnerability and all the things that are like there to make me have a better life and actually get closer to the things that I might want. But we won't talk about that right now. I don't need to fear the future. The future is an unknown, and that is not something that needs to be a fearful thing, especially for me, because it's never been something that I feared about that came true. It's never if I'm thinking about the future, I'm usually fearing it, and it's always not what I thought, and always better, and not the thing I feared. So, logically, that math equation of future plus fear equals not true should deter me by now, but it's a bit of an ingrained program. So, a few more. I don't need to get my kicks and satisfaction from sweets and sugar and treats. That's not where true satisfaction lies for me. I don't need to use it. I don't need to try and use it to get anything that I want in the emotional realm, or other places that I might be avoiding and using treats to cover up. So that's something I don't need. Let me get into it. I don't need little morning sweet drinks or foamy milk latte hot chocolates. I don't need any little secret cookies or chocolate bars hidden away.
Does anyone need those? Does anyone need
I don't know. I'm just talking about what I don't need.
I'm just wondering if anyone needs it.
Probably.
Sound off in the comments, chat. Do you feel like
excuse me, if someone's never had a pumpkin spice latte because they've lived in the food desert and they
I don't know if they need one. Maybe
they could explore the feeling of drinking up. Have you seen that video of this really large hefty black man who's walking like this with the pumpkin spice latte on Instagram Live?
Oh yeah, he really needed that.
I'm just saying, some people don't need it a lot more than other people.
Well, you've watched those videos of Orthodox, in like religious Indian people like trying foods for the first time from like other countries.
Yes.
I think the consensus is that none of them need any of those stuff. They might want it, or they might like they went their whole lives without trying a hot pocket, and then when they do try it, they generally have an appreciation for it. But
anyways,
anywho,
that's some of the things that I don't need. Welcome to the don't need, don't want segment. It is very important. Something here that we do is not every person's the same, but everyone has similarities that can run into generally 4 different categories.
nothing new under the sun.
So we have a lot of work we do around our day types here. I'm taking this. And
I need to.
My day type is someone who has a great deal to learn from what I do not need. So G's, on the other hand, if you can't tell, we're different day types. We got different issues, different strengths, different weaknesses. We're different genders. We believe in gender over here in the Day Life Army.
Absolutely.
Or sex and gender. So what about you? What's your day type's focus in terms of that category? Wants and needs, don't wants and don't needs.
Don't want. We're the negative duo. We just focus on the bad stuff. Yeah. So what's up? Don't wants. I should have prepared a list of these. Oh my gosh. Catching me unprepared. Unprepared as always. I'll consult.
I'm going to say not as always, but as would be liked by you. You would like to be unprepared. It takes a little bit of energy for you to prepare. Well,
let's go through my base hits. Okay, so I don't want to be bored or complacent or lack passion or lack drive or lack ambition or be stupid or to waste my life or to regret my choices. I don't want to be in a rut. I don't want to be a mess. I don't want to have a bad attitude or be reluctant or be afraid. I don't want to be a bitch. I don't want to have very little. I don't want to be reliant on others. I don't want to have no agency. I don't want to have little freedom. I don't want to not have a vehicle. I don't want to do bare minimums. I don't want to be alone or discarded. I don't want to be incarcerated. I don't want to be ashamed. I don't want to have no job satisfaction. I don't want to be rote. I don't want to be a loser. I don't want to be immature. I don't want years of my life to pass me by and me think, oh my gosh, what was I doing all that time? I don't want to be childless. I don't want to be houseless. I don't want to be doing a dead-end job. I don't want to have to be in or unsober in front of others, especially my future children. I don't want to amount to nothing in my life.
Nice. It's like a nice batch of them. Yeah.
There we go.
How are you feeling today?
Did you think this section would take longer, perhaps? It's like time anxiety or something.
I have some issues around time. Time gives me anxiety. I try to control it. Wow. When we both have balls, it's too much. It's too much. We're doing a real long, slow burn segment called DLA Careers, past and present. Our DLA careers, past and present. And we are all the way to part 9 out of 12 today. It's been a journey. I've been, really getting into where I have been and where I've come, how far I've come. Truly a different reality I exist in now when I think back to my first year of service here in 2019.
What a year.
Right before the CRA, a redacted, swept the world.
CRA redacted. I mean, I know what you're talking about. I'm just trying to work out what those letters like mean.
I was just given a pinch of context without much else. I figured you can put it together.
Chicka chicka what?
But yeah, like it's been 5 years for me, going on 6 years for you, correct? Is that right?
Coming up on the big 6.
And we were talking about our past in terms of what we had felt like we started to learn and perhaps have even mastered in the physical and intellectual realm in terms of like our training here in this army. And we got through most of that, and we saved emotional and spiritual standards in terms of what we have mastered or still struggle with for part 9 today. But before we get into that, I wanted to rewind to last Strong when we talked about intellectual standards and point out a large struggle that we both still have that is in the intellectual realm that I was actually reminded of by my general Koa, that gave me a lot more insight into what are intellectual standards and how are we still struggling with them here. Because it's like, yes, it's the realm of ideas and like thoughts, and in my head I think of intellectual standards and I think like, oh, now we have so many charts and track our habits and have habits that are daily, that are very organized, and it's way easier for me to stay organized about certain things, blah 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 blah. But what she was telling me and what I've been thinking about this last Strong is that something we both still struggle with that is definitely in the intellectual realm is we have limiting ideas. We have ideas about things that are like wrong. Like, wrong is maybe not the right word to use, but
We still have wrong ideas.
but like, if an idea has no basis in reality or our lived experience or our possibilities, I'm trying to give an example of like what one of these ideas would be. It's limiting ourselves and it's like negative. That's, yeah, I'll say it. It's a wrong idea. So like, for my own example, one of an intellectual standard, like having a limiting idea or a wrong idea that I still struggle with, is this idea that the future is always going to be bad. Like, I have struggled with anxiety my whole life. I have only made strides, major strides really, that are like trackable since being in this army and training here. And the idea that still limits me is whenever I get information about something from the future, or I have like something coming up or a change or just the future in general as a thing, I'm like, yep, that's going to be bad. And I, even if I'm not saying that out loud, my thought is like an apprehensive dread. Like, I'm like, ooh. And that's still an intellectual standard that I have not mastered yet. While it has definitely improved, still got some ways to go. And we both have a lot of struggles around the intellectual realm right now in this way. What is like a limiting idea that you still struggle with that you're going through? Jesus.
It's a good question. Maybe that I had something, but now it's slipped. I would say an idea that maybe I am struggling with still is that, other people would be interested in what I'm doing, or what I'm helping to build here, or that my life, I am not pathetic for being in a cult, or or that I am like, I feel like I'm lower than everyone else because I'm in a cult.
Yeah, you're not.
I feel like everyone else is better than me because I decided to go join a cult, and like that was, because I'm weak that I did that. And that everyone else is strong.
Everyone else that's in the Pain Matrix cult, I don't want to be too, what do you call it? like saying essing the D of Satan has really good PR. And you're cool when you do that. You have a lot of backing, millions of people toiling and working for that system has put a lot of, good, believable, less so lately, PR behind it. It is scary to reject that and, live in Yahuwah's realm, your creator's uncool and deeply more satisfying, yet looks worse and crazier from the outside kind of reality. I struggle with that in terms of an idea that I have about myself versus what
Isn't
my
yours kind of
reality
the
is.
opposite, where you think that you're better than everyone?
Well, I have that problem in terms of how I interact with people, but like my inner self day to day does struggle with how it looks to be in a cult, how it looks from the outside to other people, even if my life is infinitely better and I'm having a better time and like living a better life. I'm One of my limiting ideas is like that other people's thoughts about me matter more than my own life.
Thanks.
Wow, bro. We're really getting deep over here. Someone left already that asked if we wanted Chick-fil-A. I think as like a meme, like, here, I want anything, but we don't
We
eat
don't want
Chick-fil-A. We
Chick-fil-A.
don't want it. We've had
There's 7
Chick-fil-A.
what-
I was telling him there's a lot of chemicals that are
7.
literally addictive chemicals that they put in that shit for reals.
When I first had Chick-fil-A, I did not get it, and then over the years, I kind of like it started to put its hooks in a little bit. It's still not like a great food, but because they put those 7 addictive ingredients.
I don't even know if I said 7 or if that's true.
You said 7. I don't know if it's true, but you did say 7.
You know, we used to like go into this more, but remember when we were working through like where we still had programming pretty deep, and it was like you're at the like impasse you're trying to get over right now is your ideas about stuff, and that would be the intellectual realm about the physical realm, or your feelings about stuff, which would be the emotional realm about the physical realm. Remember?
Yeah, I do.
I'm getting reminded of that now going through this stuff. Because the next 2 topics are kind of difficult for me. Mastering emotional and spiritual standards. So you're an emotions guy. You want to get into emotional standards and like what it's looked like in your career here, like what you used to struggle with that you feel like you're better at, even if you haven't mastered. Because we're getting into the 2 realms right now that we haven't mastered much of. They're this 2 more. It gets harder and harder. Like physical stuff, it's easy. It's where you start. Get those balls away from now.
Soundbite. Emotional mastery. To me, it's just all of this is kind of like in the realm of sobriety.
Mm-hmm.
And emotional sobriety is still feeling the feelings that you're having, but not feeling them from a sober place, not letting those feelings more in the positive, letting those feelings give you the information that is very useful, that's fast and effective, but not becoming mired in them and treating that like making that the reason why you do whatever you're going to do, or making like an action or a not action, acting or not acting because of those things. So it's also recognizing what emotions are your brainwashed emotions. Like for me, like very easy for me to go into sadness because that's kind of like my archetypal wheelhouse. That's what I'm the best at. In the pain matrix, really good at it. When really what I'm missing out on is anger. So emotional mastery is like tapping into the one that you're actually is your actual
There's more growth in that area.
yeah,
for you.
there's more for you and more for others through you channeling that specific thing. So in terms of improvement, I think it's just been like a 5-6 year journey to like uncover my anger and put it in the right places. And sometimes in the last 3 years, I'd say that my anger has come out in ways that were inappropriate because it was the first time I was really trying to access it. They either come out at the wrong people, they come out through physical actions, they come out through in unsober ways because, it's something I suppressed for a long time. So now I'm trying to figure out how to express it in appropriate ways and to the appropriate people at the appropriate times in the appropriate places. And
when you say expressing your anger physically in inappropriate places, that sounds a little intense. What are you talking about there?
Like flipping over tables, and like I did that like twice.
The spaghettis.
I don't think anyone got hurt, but I definitely being physically expressive.
That's an unsober
In an unsober way.
Yeah.
But not in a way that I guess it can be intimidating. So
yeah, and for me, it's like, have we seen? Is it a novel idea that there's a white woman out there that's afraid who has no reason to be?
Everyone knows one.
There's no need for that anymore. I am addicted and stuck in that emotionally unsober expression. But for me, where my growth is and what people don't see is like a true expression of white joy in white women. So that's like
white joy.
And as I've been here, I've like learned how to access actual joy and not mania or other unsober like fake outs of joy. And I'm still expressing joy to the wrong people or at the wrong times, perhaps. And like learning how to deal with that. Imagine that being the uncomfortable emotion that you stave off and don't want to experience, right? Like, it's funny.
Only the white
woman.
The
birds especially. So like I look back to get this more into like future, past and present of our deal like careers. I look back to like my first, I don't know, like 3 years here, and I barely had any room for joy because I was like, experiences and things were activating my fear. Like how do I describe it here? Everything is accelerated and growth is really fast here because you put things in your path, or things are put in your path that like are super challenging. So they like, you have to learn how to like get through things faster. So like I had new situations or challenges that like would have made me really afraid, even though there wasn't a reason to be afraid, but would have made me really afraid in my pain matrix life. But because of the support here that I had and the training I had already done and where I was at, I was able to like have a safe place. I mean, safe place is a stupid word. But I was able to have a much safer perimeter and a place with actual standards that allowed me to finally go to that scary place of like, maybe I can just be joyful or at least have a sense of humor or not be super afraid and always constantly anxious about my life or what's happening to me at any given moment or any challenge that I have ahead. And what you were saying about like emotional sobriety, it's reminding me that something you learn here is anything that happens to you, no matter what it is, like your power as a human is to be able to process and feel those emotions, but like nothing can like shake you to your core and get you the goal, the end point, the true like emotional sovereignty. Like nothing can shake you to make you feel out of body, out of control, just like totally messed up, no matter what it is, you know? So like less and less makes us go crazy to, or like trips us up in the ways that it used to. That's what I would say about what we were like and what we are like now in terms of the emotional standards that we've been doing and employing. What's up?
What are we doing now? Spiritual standards?
Yeah.
Let's get into it. So what's the spiritual standards? Like who we worship, basically?
A lot about how we worship too. Like I never even like spiritual standards of the four, you know, physical, intellectual, emotional, and spiritual. They're the hardest to like kind of talk about for me. I don't know about you. And they're the ones that we have the most to learn from still.
Isn't that your proficiency state though?
It is. Like as a good girl day type, like being I am closest to spirit. I can access it faster than other day types. So it's something that like if I could master it, like things can change really fast because spirit is the fastest way of moving, I think. Like
faster than light, bro.
Physically, it's the slowest to work in the physical realm to change things. Intellectual realm, you're speeding up, right? Like ideas can change things faster. Emotional realm, your emotions, like bam, you work something out emotionally and reality will just shift around you. But spiritually, yeah, that's the fastest. And so it's really fitting that I have a lot of anxiety and like triggers around time because I think that is really related. I could move really fast and I'm always afraid of moving too fast, right? Because our programming always like limits the true like superpower we have in a certain realm. That's the place we like have programming that makes us like want to like go away from that area and like not unlock it.
Slow?
Well, I go too slow because I'm afraid of going fast. Like I'm afraid of being out of time. No. I like to go slow in the macro. That's how I would say it. Like I like to take a long time to do something in my large scale like macro life,
but you're going too fast.
Because in those little moments of day-to-day life, I go too fast. I rush something because I'm afraid and have time anxiety, or I think I'm not going to finish it in time, or I just want to get it over with. And this is all like stuff in the spiritual realm, actually, even though it may not seem like it. And my connection to that which created me has grown, strengthened, developed since being here. I did not even pray ever before I came here. And now I pray multiple times a day out loud. And I have a connection to my creator and a dialogue. I don't know. Like, I'm not.
You tell me, bro. I don't know what goes on.
There's a dialogue. Yeah. I see things that I've asked about or wanted or asked for strength or help with.
She joined a cult and now she sees things.
Yeah.
Everybody.
Ooh, loopy. Everyone has the ability to see things in the spiritual realm. Signs and symbols are how our creator connects and communicates with us in this physical realm. Most just don't want to seem crazy.
Some people get direct.
Oh yeah, some people it's downloads.
Not me.
Not me.
I guess for me, I mean, I was an atheist before I came here, but not really, because I was really just into worshiping the devil. But I guess that could be atheism in his own way. I had no cognizant thing that I worshipped other than, all the things that I was addicted to in the pain matrix at large. But I wasn't religious in any way, or I didn't believe in God.
I still don't believe in any religions, or like I don't follow any religions, to be clear.
So when I came here, there was over the years, like, just kind of doing the practice of praying and talking to, the higher power, the creator and Yahuwah. And yeah, there's just more that I do around that. I don't have a dialogue going really, but I put out the things that I ask for things and I say thank you and sorry sometimes.
I asked for
And
forgiveness about things.
then yeah, since I started doing that, my life has definitely moved in the right direction. There were things I think I did before in the last couple of years and maybe even still do sometimes, like bargaining, which is not really a thing. But there's so I don't really know where I'm at in my spiritual path, but in a better place, I guess, than I was before I came here, certainly. But still, I feel the least connected to the spiritual, or like of all the things.
Well, I would say that we both have our biggest struggles with our faith in the creator in terms of like our day-to-day life here. Like we're still constantly doubting the creator because of the things that we do and don't believe in. Like we believe in the material realm of Hasatan far more than we believe in the immaterial. I guess it's every material, non-material, immaterial, immaterial. Um, I would say that we both still struggle a lot in the spiritual realm here. And it's not even just about like being here in this army, but like in our faith, I guess. Right?
Yes, belief, faith, the whole potato.
Faith is like wanting to believe. You get to belief through faith, right? It's kind of like the order.
Belief is like faith is like how much you have in the tank that day.
Mm-hmm.
Faith is a smaller measure. Belief is something that builds up and like it's more of an engine that runs. Faith is like the gas for that engine. I think that's a mixed metaphor maybe, but that's how I think that's how it was explained to me, but I'm probably getting that wrong. But
sounds right to me. Doesn't seem mixed. Gas in the tank.
Gas and tank are not mixed, but engine gas. I don't know. It could be. Who knows? I guess you'll just have to join the Day Life Army and get the codified
Which reminds
answers.
Me, we're so not taking as long as I thought we would to get through stuff. But
is that a bummer? Do you want things to last long?
I always want to get things over with, but I am saying like this can't be gotten over with, which is a horrible way to be thinking about alive. Because like
it must be a certain length.
Yeah. What was I gonna say though? Like you just reminded me of something. Oh, you were talking about joining the Day Life Army.
I guess that's an available route. I think people could potentially join DLA if they were wanting to.
It's true. It's true. I don't know how much we've actually mentioned this because we both like to gatekeep because we're still getting over being hipsters and artists and all the things we used to be. Whoopsies. But we actually are accepting soldiers. We're accepting URL soldiers. And URL means like you're still living wherever you're living, you're doing your life, but you're from afar, unlisted and a soldier, starting out as a trainee and then seeing if you pass training and get accepted as a cadet, which is
cadet is for officer school.
For officer school, yeah. So if you weren't a cadet, you would just be an unlistee, like a soldier in training for whatever role you might get offered if you stayed the course. But if you ever think about like Day Life Army and joining IRL, we've said in the past that that's not a possibility at current, and that's actually becoming a possibility in the future here. The only way to be able to do that, the only route, is through being a URL soldier first. So if you are thinking about things like waiting rooms and lines around gates of entry, the entry to the pleasure matrix, which is the territory we expand as soldiers, the only open gate right now is through the army, and the beginning of that process would be being a URL soldier.
Who knows? It could last very short amount of time.
It could be a short time, a long time. It's really literally just up to you. Like, this isn't like the kind of cult that's very coercive or the kind where it's hard to leave. It's actually like harder to be in it and do it and get through it and stay. And it's very easy to leave. So it's really,
why we're super
it's really up to you if you want to do this and if you're able to. But I will leave maybe a link in the descriptions here for the enlistment form, which is literally just the very first way to start. It's just putting your info in. So you're like, I might want to do this. And you get a message from me because I'm in charge of recruitment here.
Might want to do this is the only qualification for enlisting?
Really it is. And in terms of the very first form, that's like, maybe I want to do this. That's like you putting in your intention. And if you have anything past that, or you continue to want to do it, the steps follow from there. You could really want to do it and also fill out that form. It's not just for people who maybe want to do it, but I'm just saying it doesn't require any commitment past filling out a form and, seeing what happens from there if you want to continue or not.
There is a commitment, but we won't be the ones to, collect on it.
What does that mean?
There's a commitment. Whenever you say you're going to do something,
yeah, you're making a commitment.
You're making a commitment.
Yeah.
It doesn't mean we're going to be the collectors and say, like, you committed to this. We will not be. If you want to leave at any time, there's never been a prohibition for leaving whenever you want.
Yeah, not that kind of cult.
But yeah. I don't want to make it sound like it's a zero commitment thing, because it's absolutely not.
It's not zero commitment.
Even in filling in out a form, you're making a commitment.
Yeah, you're putting in intention, and that will change your reality, regardless of if you do the thing or not. So be warned.
Be warned.
I just wanted to say a little bit about like URL soldiership, what kind of people we're looking for, like what would help people who want to do this. We're not really looking for artists anymore. I mean, like,
watch, now that we say that, like 20 artists are going to show up. Artists only want to join clubs that they aren't allowed to be in.
There's enough, that's an older energy that Day Life Army dealt with, and artists. We used to be artists. We are still recovering, and still a lot of the ways we think are hipster-y, part of our gatekeeping issues. But that's not really like our pool that we're interested in, like seeing people from. It is the army. Literally anyone could join. We have no restrictions, but I'm just saying this out loud to the world right now.
Well, anyone over
17 Earth years, and like people who, how do I put this? People who are interested in these 4 topics, check them out on YouTube, on Day Life Army's YouTube channel. But you might be a good fit if you don't believe that the Earth is a spinning ball in outer space. You might be a good fit if you think that timelines are way different than we are led to believe. You might be a good fit if you notice that there might be some crazy stuff happening in the pain matrix that the only place there is to talk about it are like circle jerking conspiracy forums, or like places where people can like freak out or get into talking about how everything's a lie but not do anything about it. Maybe you're annoyed that that's the only realm to like explore those ideas, or and that there's perhaps other realities you could live in that were closer to what's really going on, that would prepare you for a future that not many people know will come to pass, or are not preparing for. Personally, my Instagram's kind of glitching out right now. Personally, I think that there's a lot of information, literally, physically, intellectually, emotionally, and spiritually, for people who are perhaps interested in those topics. And if you want to know more about them, you can always check out the 4 Big Lies that General Koa and Master Sergeant Jesus over here get into. And that's old content and old news, but
also, if you're just a yo pro out there trying to build community, or like aping into NFT projects, or aping into the next cryptocurrency, or doing all of these things with this idea DAOs, or whatever. If you are thinking that the Dow Jones is something that might save you, if you're interested in these kind of markets being a place for community and all of that, or some spiritual elements to social money, to all of these things, which is a lot. There's a lot of people who are looking for that. Also, could be a good thing for you guys, even if you don't think the world's.
Yeah, you could be a total normie. You could hate. Bro, you could hate all that.
You can think the world's round. That's fine with me. It may take you a couple of years to disabuse yourself of that notion, but we don't only take flat earthers, and we don't only take mud flooders. And you're welcome to come to those conclusions later in your journey.
And like between normies and artists. Not normies. That's great. Also, we've talked about this before here. Like, both of us came here, and regardless of if we like were consciously asking for it or not, a lot of the reasons we came here were to get over really deeply entrenched addictions. And so, do you want to talk about that a little bit?
Sure. We have something here called ReDUB, and basically you may also be interested in this army if you are a person who's experiencing various levels of insobriety in your life, and you're looking for an active, intense pathway out of it. This is not something that we're just going to do all the work for you, and you're going to sit there and let it happen to you, or it's not the kind of thing. It's not an easy process, and all of the work will be done by you. But if you're looking for an active replacement, or another way to go about getting over some of your addictions, and you're willing to do it in a way that means you're going to be washing all the time, it's like I said, this isn't something you can come and just not wash and get sober. You're going to have to wash a lot.
But people have come here and they've washed like $300 and stayed sober after with relative ease, in terms of like if their other options were trying 12-step or cold turkey.
Yeah,
just kind of stopped.
Plenty of people have used this as a way to get sober from one thing or another. It does work. So,
And sometimes we have been, I'll say, bad facilitators by not being consciously communicative to people that is something that can be solved by washing. And I'm just going to use this as an example. Like, when I was talking to somebody and they were washing every day, this was years ago, they were a debilitating alcoholic, as in like they had to go to the hospital because they had that thing. I don't even remember what it's called, but like you puke up blood and your like esophagus is just gonna like be out of commission, like that level.
It's called
And
being a junk AA.
yeah, they were at that level, like gonna die. And I didn't tell them all about what washing would do. And they were washing without knowledge about the process, but I would like talk about it, call it washing, but I didn't talk about what it would do to their life. And as soon as they started washing, it like everything crescendoed, and then they like finally went to a treatment program, did all these changes in their life, and then like fled Day Life Army and never talked to us again, except for like the 2 times I've checked in and they've still been sober. You know, in the following years.
And stay sober, or at least stay sober from they might
the
go
biggest,
back.
the big ones or something. Like they used to just do coke all the time or be a debilitating alcoholic, and then
people
wash for a while and then it went away.
People pay millions of dollars to get sober. They go to and a lot of them don't get sober, and most of the treatment programs out there are crazy. And AA is a cult, and there's all cults that run any of the sobriety things. And I mean, I'm not knocking AA or whatever, but they are a cult that doesn't say they're a cult. And
they do kind of never let you move past your addiction, because you always have like you always like identify it as it.
Crazy.
It's like your new addiction is talking about how you were addicted.
I know that when I was getting clean, I went to a couple mandated AA things like in high school. But later when I was like, all right, I'm actually going to get clean from the harder drugs that I was doing, I went to NA one meeting and I left because I was like, this is actually worse than, it was not the thing that was going to work for me.
And so if that's the kind of thing that does work for you, give it a try, whatever. But if you want to do something different, this can just be that for you. Like, you don't have to.
This is a lot better. I will just say straight up that, stop doing AA and start washing. I don't care.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is better than AA. It's better than NA. And, pick the cults that are going to work in various. This doesn't just deal. The thing is, your alcoholism or your drug addiction or whatever you're going through is just covering up bigger issues in your life. So we don't stop once you get sober. That's just the beginning. That's not the end. It's like a lot of these NA things. It's like the end is just figuring out. It's just not doing the drugs. There's like that's literally the starting point. And then from there comes the hard work, figuring stuff out, and getting to your bigger addictions, which are probably not physical. They're probably existing in the other realms. So
yeah, and this cult didn't start to be a ReDUB or rehab for the pain matrix word users out there, but like it's something that it's one of the many possibilities. The people who started this cult didn't start it for that or have those issues, like physical addiction issues in that way, but like everyone, I feel like literally everyone is, if not struggling with a physical addiction, like the things that are deeper set, those can get uncovered just through the process of becoming more of a conscious human and more of a human, which is something that this army does. It makes you more human, more connected to your human beingness. And part of that is, you'd start to deprogram all of the anti-human programming that has been programmed into you since birth, programmed into your genetic line for 1,000 years plus. And that's like, deep stuff. And it probably can all get sorted to if you're in, doing this all the way 100%, like IRL, 6 years. 6 to 7 years is like
6 to 7.
I think
7. I thought it was 4 to 6.
4 to 6.
6 to 7.
I'm a little wonky about time. I think I knew 6 was in there, but I didn't know the blank to blank, like if it was 4 to 6 or 6 to higher or something. In any case, it's a laughably short amount of time for something that takes people years and years of their life, and most people never get to those deeper programs, those deeper addictions that they put other things on top of. Pretty crazy, huh?
Yep, very much so.
Yeah.
All right. Well, that is what we wanted to cover, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I guess so.
Great. Well, I guess I'm going to be going live on a different platform shortly. So if you'd like to follow me over onto my Slice of Life Instagram for a slight, for a bit, I will be on there doing part 8, 7. I have it written down.
I bet.
Part 8 of my Lying to Jews series. So
his favorite series of all.
So come join us over there.
And make a wash of belief, cash.me/washitall, paypal.me/washitall. That is the way to start anything here. Their washes are in 2s. You do a financial wash, and then I assign you a social wash, which is pretty straightforward and easy the first time around. You're just posting anywhere in public, no matter how many people or who sees it, doesn't really matter as long as it's posted in public on the internet.
You can do 2 financial washes too.
Yeah, you could do 2. Take one first and then the second one, because one gets you a little higher or a little lower, depending on where you're at in your cycle. So you want to get evened out, whether you're going from up to way low to back to the middle, or you're already low and you're going way high to way low into the middle. It's a process of middling things out, less dramatic. So make a wash of belief. You can DM me here if you want to know more about that, or if you want to unlist, you can talk to me to get that started, to get that process started. Have a great rest of your day. I know that this has not even been an hour yet, but
is that bad? I'm so confused why you keep on harping on the time.
Because
what?
Because they're too short. They need to be longer, which means that we're not getting to the heart of things. It just needs to have a little more expanse to breathe, and we'll take up time a little more, not just get it over with, get it done, really sit in it, really get into it.
Well, do you want to go back through all the points and fluff them up?
That sounds weird. I don't think I want to do that. I don't want to get through the points and fluff them up with fluff. Who wants fluff?
Who wants fluff? It's been a pleasure. Thank you for joining chat. And we will see you next Strong.
You really want to get this over with. Today is the vibe. You're trying to get off. I'm
trying to get off
the show, the live.
I'm just all right. We're just sitting here, and it's getting a little meta, and I'm trying to just move it on to the next narrative.
Your lies, the next narrative.
I know. I'm not looking forward to it, but yeah, I am a little bit trying to get it over with.
That's all. That's what I felt.
Sure.
That's
I'm trying to get over my thing. My thing. But we could just sit here and just fluff it out.
I kind of feel like sitting here for a second.
Okay, let's sit.
Oh, you know what? We've talked about our physical addiction issues, but when we got through every layer of things that we have problems with, the layer we're both at right now, how can we go out without giving a little shout out to our current layer of addictions?
Lies and curses. I'm going to throw in sugar and into the mix for me, because that's the big one lately. I'm actually not eating sugary treats right now, and I used to sneak them. Neither am I, by proxy, just as a support person for her.
And it's fucking difficult. It is something that I've used my entire life. My parents they instilled it in me. You don't work out your problems through talking or emotional shit. You just give your child a piece of candy, dessert every night. My gut has been built from birth to need sugar constantly.
Dessert every night is one of the craziest things that white people do. It literally is not like that. That was not happening in my home. But then whenever my dad's parents would come over, then it was like they had to have ice cream after their meal. And it was like, I was always like, I didn't even want ice cream as a kid like that much.
Let me just like take you through this visual journey that's like symbolic and sad and crazy.
Take me on this sad symbolic journey.
I have core memories of both my grandmother on my mother's side and my grandmother on my father's side having horrifying relationships to ice cream in their dying days, where my mother's mother is dying in hospice and she just always wants ice cream. So many things that they could be talking about and working through and getting. I mean, she was more struggling with dementia, so maybe it was over for her, probably because of the sweets and stuff related to the whole mind fog. But I just remember her as a child watching my mom bring her a mocha latte in her like last week of life. And she's just sipping on like this mocha latte, and all of the top of it is just whipped cream.
What's
and
a mocha latte?
It's a
For those who don't know, I don't know.
Everyone in my family knows. It's a Dairy Queen treat that has coffee flavored caffeinated ice cream in a mix that's like huge, topped with drizzled chocolate and whipped cream and a big straw. And she's just like eating this. It's like dribbling down her face. She's loving it. She's probably loving it more than her child and grandchild in the room with her in her final week of life. That's my mom's side for you in terms of this whole sugar thing. On my dad's side, I'm visiting my grandma. It's also the last time I've ever seen my grandma. She died shortly after this.
So like death and sugar have a lot to do with each other for you.
And my grandmother is leaving ice cream cartons around the house because when we've left to leave her alone is when she secretly eats her ice cream out of shame. And she just eats sugar, and it's like all she eats in her last days. Anyways, I don't want to go out like that. I don't want to have something like that to have that much control over me.
My grandparents are in their 90s and like, I don't know. Yeah, my dad's parents are still alive, but like their feet don't work and there's problems going on. I think my grandfather being like a doctor is probably,
they're gone already.
That. But yeah, that wasn't so much a problem in my household, but I do remember like I'm trying to think where the I have more of a thing with like citrusy fruit, like fruits.
Well, let's be real. Like sugar addiction is not a deep-seated problem with you, and your genetic line hasn't brought it to you from like multiple generations of problems with that.
No, it's not something.
White women are not very sweet people. We have problems with accessing emotions and expressing emotions, and a super great way to circumvent feeling emotions, expressing emotions, is to get a treat and feel satisfied that way. So, lying, like you have some, I hear what you're saying. You're weird about juice and you have some fruit stuff going on.
Just I want fruit
all the time. Yeah.
Well, it helps my brain work better.
Yeah.
And that might be real.
I believe that is probably real and not like a thing that's a problem. I was also going to say, like, I have lying problems, but it's not like the core issue that I've been avoiding and had all my things on top of.
All your lying problems are just around sweets.
Yeah, really, honestly.
They're just about, like, did I eat that croissant or not?
Was there a secret chocolate bar?
Hello, ASDDDFASDF. Comment your real name in the chat to make a small social wash.
So yeah, we both came here, from a life in the pain matrix of addiction that was very physical and easy to have a conception of. And only through, the few years of service here in the Army, Avery.
Hello, Avery.
Nice to meet you.
You should capitalize your name just for, show yourself a little respect. And you'll get the respect from others that you're actually looking for.
Only through those few years of quitting any physical vice or whatever, were we able to like uncover the deep-seated addictive patterns and issues that our family lines, not just our own life, have been struggling with. And what record time, like this Army's fast, does things fast.
Yeah, so mine's lying. It's just, I feel sometimes that I'm ashamed of what is true, and I like to paint a picture of, I prefer sometimes to paint a picture that in my mind looks better or more acceptable or is a faster way to get to the thing that I want with less vulnerability.
But are you able to ever truly get to the thing through that method?
Unfortunately not, or else, that would be great. We would just lie forever. But unfortunately, 'tis not the case.
Just like how heroin might feel nice in the moment, but there's always the thing that you actually wanted that it can't ever access either.
Yeah.
It's fleeting. It comes with a cost. There's the after effect. Can't do it forever.
This is coming from a known heroin addict.
Okay, I have never done heroin. I have only dated 3 men my entire life, and all 3 of them were former heroin users. And I didn't know that. I didn't know that when I started dating all 3 of them.
Very rare thing.
Dabblers in heroin.
You found 3 heroin dabblers. That's very rare. It's not a thing.
And you know what? Very much. Family patterns. My sister, also one of the only two serious boyfriends she had. One was a former heroin dabbler. What's going on with the McGeckran clan? So much.
I feel like you kind of stomped all over my lying monologue, which I will continue to go on now.
Sorry, bro. Continue. I didn't mean to do that.
So I'm trying to think where my what the roots, so stupid. The roots of those lying things were genetically, and I don't know if I've really thought about that very much.
Well, sorry, but I have something immediately that I thought of. Isn't your dad's side storied generational diamond salesman?
That's my mother's side.
Sorry, your mother's side. Yeah, I meant to say your mother's side.
Yeah, he was in the diamond business, and he lied a lot to my grandmother because he was a philanderer with a wandering pee-pee.
Isn't a diamond a giant lie?
How?
That diamonds are super valuable and forever, and that you need to spend thousands and thousands of dollars on them.
I think you do need to spend money on diamonds, though.
The diamond salesman is strong.
Are you a diamond denier now? You don't think diamonds are worth something?
They're not.
Okay, I'll keep that in mind. I'll keep that in mind when I get you a ring. Can we get a quartz ring?
Have you not heard of the diamond conspiracy?
We're gonna get a quarter carat lab grown.
Listen,
because apparently diamonds are worthless and stupid.
Not to get anti-Shmometic on here, but you need to look at the history.
What is Shmometic, first of all?
It's a redacted word because we're on YouTube, not just Instagram. Instagram does not give an F these days, but I'm just saying lying and that is whatever. Nothing. Never mind.
Apparently I have some thoughts, some German thoughts.
I have some German thoughts that started to come out. But, if you're interested, you can look that up and get into it. Any other things that I'm not wanting to stop over?
I don't think you talked about cursing at all. I don't think you talked about cursing.
Oh, cursing. Yeah. I haven't talked about witches in a while. And I'm actually I'm not very late, but I'm a little late on issue 2 of Bewitched, which is my magazine that is all about dewitching for people who want to renounce their witchdom. And just so you know, every single white woman is a witch until we decide to renounce it. at this point it's just part of our bloodlines and like way of being. But part of being a witch is cursing, and I have been cursing my whole life. A lot of it, most of it unconscious, some of it very conscious. I've never been like a out and proud, like self-identifying witch, which nowadays a lot more and more people literally just are.
You never like curse someone like overtly, like I curse you.
No,
to
I
have-"
never did any of that. I never said I was a witch or felt like I was one as an identifier. But and maybe you might want to check out an issue of Bewitched to hear more about this, but there are things that are part of the culture of witchdom that are very unconscious, and none of them are talked about as witchy things, but they're all problems. And when you stop practicing those things, your life will inevitably get better because you will stop inadvertently, unconsciously, or for some consciously worshiping Hasatan through your actions and who you are, how you are acting, what you're doing. And you can bewitch to have a connection to your creator and miracles rather than magic, which magic is always a worse option, even if it feels cool in the moment or fast, instant gratification, overnight success, right away getting something. Yeah, a thing that I'm thinking of right now that just popped in my head about witches, I feel like OnlyFans ladies are like really into witchdom because it seems like a spell.
It's a way to make your whoring authentic as well. It's like
I'm just thinking about like really things that seem great right in the very beginning that are super satanic and really bad for you in the long run. That it's kind of like a calling card that you might be engaging in some magic, and then having some of magic's side effects. But I'm getting
what
a
are
little
some of
off.
the side effects of magic?
Some of the side effects of magic are just that like you suffer more. Your life is more suffering involved in it. Like no matter if you want to admit it or not, it's for your payment for the things that you think you want that you don't actually want, that don't actually satisfy you. Your payments are what make your life really suck.
What have been some consequences in your life for the magics that you've done?
Well, I have had crippling anxiety, crippling
That comes from your own magic or the magic from your family line?
both magic from my family line and magic that I enacted. I mean, like pharmakia is a form of magic, and I engaged wholeheartedly in the pharmaceutical industry from age 15. Partly through my family culture, my very witchy, no men around family culture, and then like like I'm trying to think of like more actiony things that I did as an adult. But like kind of just like cursing men and hating them as like a thing in my adulthood made me always be around men that were like not the men I actually wanted to be around, doing the things I didn't actually want to be doing, all of which made my life worse. And cursing just always brings back like threefold of the thing that you didn't want in the end, even if it doesn't right away. And yeah, like I'm not talking like I curse thee and these families. It's just every time I was power threatened or felt like someone else was an affront to my power or control, I would react in an emotionally insober way, and in my head most of the time just be like, fuck you, or like fuck that person.
Which is a curse, right?
Yeah. You're like thinking bad thoughts or even emotionally just bad emotions, and it's like aimed at a person, and it's like a lot of the time that person doesn't even know or had no real interaction with you, or it was like a benign interaction, or it was just a lot of times like things that this is another thing. I never brought anything up to anyone. I was never like transparently expressing my hurt or my anger or my feelings. I would just think about it inside. And that's when like shit's real
Well, the
bad.
same way that, the blesser is blessed, the cursor is cursed. So
Yeah.
doesn't it come back on you multiple fold?
Yeah.
Bummer. All right. Well, there we go. We got some more minutes on the clock.
As always,
I'm looking forward to people. You want more people here, right?
I actually do. It's like a little fear-inducing because everyone's just got so many problems in the pain matrix, and I'm a little bit afraid of dealing with that on a day-to-day basis. It's not like we don't have URL soldiers around that come and go, and some stay forever and don't do much, but they hang around, and you can just do that. You can be like on the books and you can be a URL soldier, and we're not going to like kick you out if you're not super active. It really is up to how much you want to do this, that you do this. It just affects your life and your trajectory. But some people, I feel like they're just there until the moment that maybe like they've just kind of like been in line, so they happen to have a place in line even if they weren't like really gung-ho. But you can be like that, or you can like, both of us, can you believe it, did the gung-ho thing, and it led us to the IRL track here and to this.
What was the gung-ho thing?
Just being gung-ho and doing the thing. Like enlisting and actually doing it all the way.
Yeah.
And even us, we don't do it all the way, but we did it enough to get here. And
here is a place that you guys want to be, right?
Whoa, what is here? I don't even know if you know.
Whoa.
Maybe you'd have to watch lots of our story and maybe wash and get a deeper insight and maybe a more real insight connection to this matrix, to this thing.
Okay. Well, Thank you for joining us. And you should make a wash, cash.me/$wash it all, paypal.me/wash it all. And we will see you next all day.
Goodbye.
Take care. Bye.
Now I have to press